Hello, dear friend. Welcome to Healing Pages channel, the safe haven where every page you turn brings you gently back to yourself. Have you ever felt that each healing book you read is like a door gently opening to a new part of your soul? You underline lines, highlight passages, because somehow, somewhere, certain words touch your heart in ways you can't quite explain. And even though the healing journey isn't always easy, you choose to stay, because deep down, you believe that peace is getting closer, one soft step at a time. Maybe what you need isn't to read more, but to read deeper. To read not just with your mind, but with your heart. Because healing books aren't meant to be rushed through. They're meant to be paused with, felt deeply, and gently held, as conversations with your own soul. In today's video, I want to share with you how we can turn each page of a healing book into a warm cup of tea for the heart. A gentle journey, slow and soulful, where you are enough, just as you are, whole, peaceful, worthy of love. This isn't just a video about books. This is a quiet space where your heart gets to be heard. So stay with me, because maybe today, you won't just learn how to read a book. You'll learn how to embrace yourself with all the softness you deserve. Healing books, more than just turning pages. We often think of reading as something simple. Open a book, read from beginning to end, understand the content, and move on. But with healing books, the experience is something entirely different. Because these aren't just books, they're companions on your journey. Each word isn't simply meant to be understood, but to be felt. Sometimes, just a single sentence is enough to bring tears to your eyes. Like a gentle reminder. You may be tired, but you are still worthy of love. If you're feeling lost, if you feel like you're not good enough, not strong enough, maybe what you need isn't to push harder, but to pause, to gently listen to yourself. And reading a healing book can be a beautiful way to do just that. Try to imagine each page as a mirror. You're not just reading, you're seeing yourself reflected in it. Hidden desires, unhealed wounds, and the beautiful parts of you that you might have forgotten. Healing books don't say, you must change. They whisper, you are already whole, just come home to yourself. When you read with your heart, there's no pressure to finish quickly or understand everything. You just stay with each word. Let them sink into you, slowly. Like how a good cup of tea should be savored, never rushed. Some pages, you'll return to over and over. Not because you didn't understand, but because you needed them. Like a quiet comfort. Like an invisible hug. So no, reading a healing book isn't just about turning pages. It's about gently touching your own heart again. It's a quiet space you create for yourself, in a noisy world. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to do anything grand. Just 5 quiet minutes each day, with a soft book and an open heart. That's enough to plant a small seed of peace within you. Reading as a way to talk to yourself. Have you ever wondered, why do some lines in a book make you tear up? Why do some words seem so simple, yet in a quiet moment, they bring you to the edge of tears? Maybe it's because those words touched something deep inside you, a part of yourself you've been trying to ignore. We usually think of reading as a one-way action. We receive, we consume. But with healing books, reading is a conversation. It's a dialogue between the version of you that's here today, and the part of you still waiting quietly inside, hoping to be seen. It's a soft conversation between your present self and the wounded inner child who's still longing for a hug. One book that taught me the most about reading as an inner dialogue is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. This book isn't just a guide to healing. It's like a gentle mirror, helping us see how we treat ourselves. Louise Hay writes, "Love is the great miracle cure. Loving ourselves works miracles in our lives." The first time I read that, I thought, yeah, that makes sense. But it didn't land, not really. Then one night, after a long exhausting day, I opened the book again. I paused and asked myself, have I truly loved myself? Or have I only been trying to fix myself, to be better, stronger, more perfect? And that's when something shifted. I wasn't just reading anymore. I was talking to myself through the pages. Reading healing books isn't about finding the answers. It's about asking the right questions. You don't have to read a lot. You just need to read a little, then stop, and ask, what does this sentence awaken in me? What part of my heart is being touched right now? What am I feeling? Is there a part of me that needs to be held right now? For example, when Louise wrote, "Each day is a new beginning. Yesterday is over and done. Today is the first day of the future." I paused. Not because the sentence was overly poetic, but because it came to me at just the right moment. At that moment, I realized how many mornings I've carried yesterday's pain into today. How often I've stepped into a brand new day still holding on to regret, shame, and self-doubt. How many times have I whispered to myself, I'm still not good enough. I haven't achieved anything. I'm falling behind everyone else. And then, these words appeared, quiet but firm. They didn't offer advice. They offered a chance. A chance to ask myself, if today is truly the first day of my future, how do I want to live it? Will I keep replaying the same fears, or can I dare to believe in myself, even just a little? Inner conversations aren't always easy. Some pages might feel uncomfortable, like someone poking at an old wound. But here's the thing. Whatever stirs you, is calling to be healed. Stay with that feeling. Try writing it out. Not to sound wise or deep, just to be honest. Because writing, too, is a way of continuing that conversation with yourself. You don't have to understand everything. You just have to feel deeply enough. Sometimes, we rush through books just to say we've finished. But healing books? They don't need to be finished. They need to be felt. Some chapters, you might pause halfway and just breathe. Some lines, you might return to again and again, because each time, you discover a little more about yourself. Louise Hay once said, "Love is always the answer to healing of any sort, and the path to love is forgiveness. Forgiveness dissolves resentment." This isn't just philosophy. It's a gentle reminder that every time you return to kindness, to softness with yourself, you are redrawing the boundaries of your world. So here's a little note to close this part. You don't need to be a good reader. You just need to be honest with your feelings. And if every time you pick up a book, you dare to talk to yourself, that, in itself, is healing. Quiet. Unforced. Just gently, coming home to you. Read to transform, not to judge yourself. You know, sometimes we approach self-help books with a quiet pressure. I have to be better. I need to change right now. I should live as positively as the book describes. And then, it becomes so easy to fall into the trap of comparison. We compare ourselves to the ideal version described in the book. One that always seems so calm, healed, and put together. But here's the magic. Healing books don't come to tell you that you're not enough. They come to remind you. You already are, you've just forgotten. Louise Hay, the woman who touched millions of hearts with her words of hope, once wrote, "The past has no power over us. It doesn't matter how long we've had a negative pattern. The point of power is always in the present moment." What a wonderful thing to realize. We can begin to be free in this moment. Can you feel the relief in those words? There's no blame, no demand for perfection. Only a gentle invitation. This present moment, right now, as you're breathing, is a beautiful beginning. You don't need to erase the past to be worthy of happiness. You only need to recognize you are worthy of a fresh chance, and you're holding it, right now. Just by opening a book, reading a few lines, and listening inwardly. You are already taking the first steps of transformation. But transformation doesn't mean becoming someone else. True transformation is coming home to yourself, more whole, more loving. When reading healing books, you don't need to track your progress. You only need to gently ask yourself, how does this passage make me feel today? What part of me is being touched? Where could I treat myself with more kindness? Louise Hay also wrote, "We don't fix problems, we fix our thinking, then problems fix themselves." It sounds simple, but it holds tremendous power. When you stop trying to control the outside world, and start turning inward, nurturing a gentle mind, you'll be surprised at how things begin to shift. Difficulties may still arise, but you're no longer swept away by them. Instead of reacting with fear or frustration, you might pause and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Could it be I'm growing? Transformation doesn't come from pressure. It comes from belief. The belief that you deserve a gentler life. You don't need to fix yourself. You only need to start tending to your thoughts each day, with kindness. And books, the right books, can be the quietest, most loyal friends in that journey. Imagine this. Each morning, you read a short passage. You sit down with a warm cup of tea. You breathe slowly. And you let the words reach your heart. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to feel. And to allow yourself to slow down. That's already the seed of transformation being planted. To close this part, there's only one thing I want you to remember. You don't have to change to be worthy of love. It is love, especially self-love, that will gently, steadily lift you. And books? They're like whispers from the universe, telling you, you've come far enough to return, and you are beautiful enough to begin again, anytime you choose. Write it out, because writing is how the body releases. There are things you simply cannot put into words. There are emotions no one else could fully understand. But still, you can write. Writing is a quiet journey, but it holds deep power. You don't need to be a writer. You don't need polished sentences. All you need is a blank page. And the courage to be honest with yourself. Write to breathe out sorrow. Write to name what you've hidden for too long. Write to begin a new chapter, even if it's only within your heart. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, author of the powerful book The Body Keeps the Score, once wrote, "Anyone can be traumatized. Me, you, your family, your co-workers. Trauma doesn't just affect the mind or emotions, it leaves its mark on the body, and on the immune system. We often believe that if we're still functioning, still going to school, to work, still smiling, then we must be fine. But the body remembers. It stores the unprocessed emotions. It holds the things we've suppressed, in our chest, our stomach, in sleepless nights. And writing? Writing is how we gently release those things from the inside. You don't write to solve everything. You write so you don't carry it all alone. When you write, I feel tired today and I don't know what I'm living for. I still miss someone who's gone, and I feel weak admitting that. I wish someone would just hug me, so I'd know I'm not alone. That's the beginning of healing. Because emotions, when seen, named, and accepted, begin to soften. Writing won't make life easier, but it will help lighten the load, so you can keep going. Imagine this. Each morning, instead of rushing into your to-do list, you spend just 5 minutes writing down. How am I feeling right now? What am I grateful for today? What's one small thing I want to do for myself? Just a few simple lines, and yet, the shift is powerful. You start the day not with pressure, but with presence. With the gentle awareness that you are alive, not just surviving. Writing is also how you rewrite yourself. Not to deny what has happened, but to remind yourself, I am not what hurt me. I am how I choose to live today. You can revisit old stories, but through a softer lens. Back then, I thought I was weak. Now I see how brave I was to keep going. I once felt abandoned. Now I see, I'm learning to come home to myself. That is transformation through words. And you hold the pen. Here are a few gentle ways to begin your writing for healing journey. Morning pages. Each morning, write whatever's on your mind for 2 to 3 pages. No editing, no judgment. Just let it out. Clear the clutter. Write a letter to yourself. Write to the hurting version of you, with all the kindness you can offer. Or write to your future self, the one who's already healed, already whole. Gratitude journal. Each night, jot down 3 things you're grateful for. Even tiny ones, like a warm cup of tea or hearing a song I love. And remember, you don't need someone else to listen to you, before you learn to listen to yourself. Sometimes, all it takes is a pen, and you can begin to heal. You don't have to write beautifully. You only have to write truthfully. Because truth is all your body needs, to begin exhaling the old, and welcoming in something lighter, something new. A book is a guide, but you are the one who takes the step. Have you ever read a book and thought, wow, it feels like this was written just for me? As if someone truly sees you, understands the depths of your heart and gives words to the things you've never been able to name? That's the magic of healing books. They're like gentle companions who place a hand on your shoulder and say, come on, you're not alone. But there will come a moment when you close the book, and you're standing at a real-life crossroads. At that point, the book can't take the step for you. Only you, with your courage, wounds, dreams, and fears, can decide to move forward. Because books don't change your life. You do. A good book may touch your heart, stir something inside you. But if you only stop at feeling inspired, and never take action, that inspiration will slowly fade. You can read 100 books on self-love, but if tomorrow morning you still look in the mirror and whisper, I'm not enough, then what you need isn't another book. What you need is a real step, no matter how small. Wrapping your arms around yourself. Writing a few kind words to your inner child. Or simply not blaming yourself when things don't go as planned. If you conquer yourself, then you can conquer the world. These words are in The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho. That quote always lingers with me. Because deep down, we all long to conquer the world. To feel meaningful, worthy, loved, successful. But maybe the world isn't about fame or achievement. Maybe it's the world within. A place full of old beliefs, self-doubt, and unhealed wounds. To conquer that world is to finally face the things we often run from. The fear of failure. The feeling of not being good enough. The habit of comparing ourselves and always falling short. And then, little by little, to walk through those shadows. Not with resistance, but with compassion and understanding. Why do we often wait for books to show us the way? Maybe because we haven't learned to trust ourselves yet. We think someone else must have the secret. This book says do it that way. The book says something different. So we chase one formula after another, and forget to ask the most important question. What do I truly need right now? The best book isn't the one that's famous or 5-star rated. It's the one that helps you hear yourself more clearly. That gently reminds you of how strong you once were. How soft, how deeply loving you still are. A good book is a lamp, but you are the one who lights the flame. If yesterday you chose avoidance, then today, you can choose to face. If yesterday you felt unworthy, then today, you can softly say, I'm learning to love myself. If yesterday you only read, then today, you can begin to act. One small, honest step. Books can illuminate the path, but only you can walk it. Healing is not about chasing a perfect version of yourself. It's about returning, holding your truest self with both hands, and choosing to move forward. Every time you choose gentleness with yourself, every time you whisper, I deserve to be loved, you are slowly, quietly conquering the world within. And at some point, you'll no longer look for shortcuts in any book. Because you'll have your own map, drawn from your own heart, your lived experience, and your quiet resilience. You don't need to be the most knowledgeable person. You only need to be the one brave enough to listen deeply to yourself. Books can offer words, ideas, inspiration. But you, through the small choices you make each day, are the one writing your own healing story. If you've stayed until the end of this video, thank you, not just for listening to me, but for staying present with yourself. Healing is not a destination. It's a journey. One that often goes unseen. No applause, no spotlight. Just you, and the quiet effort to get back up. Again and again. To be soft with yourself when it's hardest to do so. I hope that after this video, you no longer see healing books as a task to complete, but as a sweet little date with your soul each day. A place where you can write, breathe, feel, and gently remind yourself you're on the right path. It's okay to go slow. Every step is for loving yourself more deeply. And if someday you feel tired, please remember, you don't need to try to become someone else. You just need to return and embrace the one you already are. If this video touched your heart, please hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone else who might be walking their own healing path. Every share, every view, is not just a number. It might be a tiny spark of hope for someone out there, lost in the dark. See you in the next reading session, with me, and with your own soul, alongside a warm cup of tea, and a heart that's learning to listen.